Welcome back to the TI4 European Qualifiers presented by Monster and produced by Conrad, the best in the business. My name is Sunspan. Joining me is Cinderwin, and today we actually have a really good match, Virtus.Pro versus Mouz. Mouz is currently 6-0, I believe. Either way, they're undefeated. Roxkiss is 7-0, so there are two undefeated teams right now in the qualifiers, and Virtus.Pro is currently 4th at a 4-3 record, and if the playoffs started today, there would actually be no tiebreakers, which is shocking. Some teams like Power Rangers have just struggled for whatever reason, and teams like Team Coast have coasted.
You got it right.
Thank you.
You called them Coast. I'm proud of you.
Team Coast Gaming. I don't know what this means. What does that mean, Conrad? What is this? This is Conrad in the back. This is Conrad. Oh, okay. He's doing the coasting symbol. Okay. All right, so we're in the pig band. He doesn't want us to make fun of him anymore.
Hate Conrad.
And we have, like I said, Virtus.Pro versus Mouz. We have bands coming out. Batrider, Marana, EO, and Lycan. And this is what we saw from Mouz in the game that we cast last, actually. It was the Ancient Apparition Nature's Prophet.
Who's EO?
EO, IO. Something like that. So, you're going to comment, or are you just going to keep playing Game Boy?
Talking about. Okay.
He's posting on Twitter as we speak.
I didn't have time to post that we were going to cast, so I had to do it a little bit on the fly. Anyway, Mouz versus VP, like you said, and Mouz getting off to their pretty standard opener here with,
what did they have in
AA
that?
Prophet.
What was the full lineup? Do you remember?
They got Puck. Who was that carry again?
You want me to just look it up while you talk?
Yes, Puck and so, okay, well, you'll find the draft. Great. So VP will get Invoker together with the Treant. I'm curious to see if Virtus.Pro makes good use of the Treant. This is something we've talked to death pretty much in the qualifiers. Not just this one, but over the course of all the qualifiers there have been.
5 seconds remaining.
Some teams just use Treant way too defensively. That's kind of the common consensus here in the studio. And others pull it off very nicely. So we'll see if VP can do it this game. This is, of course, a very important game for them. For Mouz, maybe not so important, since getting first or second doesn't matter. And Mouz, with this 6-0 record, kind of something shocking needs to happen for them to not reach top 2 at this point. So
I got it.
VP has more to win than Mouz has to lose at this point.
Alright, so they had Nature's Prophet, Ancient Apparition, as we talked about, Razor, Enigma, and Puck.
Yes. Okay.
And they were just going around destroying people. Once the Puck got the Blink Dagger, they would set up very easily with Nature's Prophet TPing in. Ancient Apparition pretty much hit every single ult, and I thought that was a huge part of that game. It's very global type presence. But Virtus.Pro has some global shizzle for themselves as well, as we have Treant Protector and Invoker, as we talked about. Now the band's coming out. Enigma will be banned, so Virtus.Pro perhaps studying up a bit on what Mouz
then they should ban the Puck as well.
Yeah.
Unless they have a plan of outlaning the Puck, for example. Which, okay, they're going to ban Luna, which has Mouz picked that once this tournament so far?
Has anybody picked that once this tournament? If only somebody...
I guess so.
Alright, Conrad's going to check the stats. We appreciate
Rubik
that.
For Mouz. That's something different.
Turn to pick.
I guess this might be their plan B when the Enigma is banned for this particular lineup, or maybe they just pick Rubik because there's some great stuff to steal. It's very easy to steal Overgrowth. Living Armor is good to steal too. Against Invoker, you pretty much get to pick what type of spell you want to steal in the fight if you're fast on your fingers. So I like this choice for Mouz. Of course, it does make their lineup very, very fragile, and that's something that Virtus.Pro could take advantage of here if they get some significant team fight and or just heavy nukers.
Let's get some Centaur in the
Centaur could be pretty nice, although they are dire.
Yeah, we just talked about this, how Centaur's kind of dropped off since, well, I don't know if since what, but obviously the hoof stomp being changed. I don't think that was really the reason that's kind of dropped off. It's more because Dire is being punished more these days in the off lane, and it's a tough matchup sometimes. And Bane's going to be picked for Virtus.Pro. First thing I think of when I see that is Marana, but of course it was banned first and foremost by Virtus.Pro, so we'll see what they end up laning with that. We saw, who was it that was playing Gyro just now? Actually, a lot of teams are picking up Gyro, and you really like that idea.
Yeah, I think it's a great hero that was overlooked, so I'm happy to see it making a comeback. And there is the Centaur.
Turn to ban.
Conrad has stats.
Luna has been picked twice with a 1-1 record.
Thanks for the stats, Conrad.
Go back. No, it is. So go back 2 months. this hero is picked in
Conrad.
almost
Seconds
every
remaining.
single game.
That's true.
And I believe all that was changed is like the agility start. Like it went from
5
22 to
seconds
18, I think.
remaining.
yeah, something.
I feel
like
like that's not that significant to the point where you never pick, like almost ever pick that hero.
I would
Reserve
agree.
time.
And the same for Gyro. Gyro got buffed and then never was picked again. So
That one is even weirder.
that was weird. But to be fair, Gyro fell off before he got that buff. But it's good to see him back. I think it's a great hero. We'll see if Virtus.Pro try to go for it here. I think it makes a lot of sense in their type of lineup. They have a good team fighting lineup with Centaur and Invoker. Gyro is one of the great team fighting carries. Has good synergy with Bane as well. You can Nightmare into homing missile. You can Nightmare into cooldown, or you can just close the gap and get a really heavy rocket barrage off. So
Expect Puck to be the last
We'll
one
be
here from
curious.
Mouse. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
that-
identical other than the Enigma, as we talked
yes,
about.
I would be very surprised if Virtus.Pro does not ban Puck
Virtus.Pro's
now.
turn
It's
to
just
ban.
so obvious right now what Mouse Sports is going for.
I was thinking maybe Virtus.Pro would go for the Razor, to be honest, before the Centaur, because it lanes. Obviously, I don't see Razor very often in a duel or even tri-lane, but I think it works really well with a Bane. Obviously, it does depend a bit
10
on the matchup
seconds
itself.
remaining.
Why are you?
Mouse Sports turn to
I wish
pick.
people could see what I had to deal with here. Like honestly, honestly, unreal.
Oh god.
All right, but they are going to ban the Puck, so a very nice choice here for Virtus.Pro, and Weaver's going to be the last ban for Mouse. So, yeah, Virtus.Pro needs some sort of a carry. Well, they don't need it, but they'll probably go for some sort of a carry to go with that tri-lane with the Bane and Treant. And Mouse Sports, how did they lane the Razor in that game? Do you remember?
They put it safe lane with AA.
10 seconds remaining.
Oh, that's right, and Enigma was in the jungle. So now
Yes.
this would actually be a tri-lane. And
5 seconds
that's actually
remaining.
a pretty decent tri-lane. 3 range heroes with Chilling Touch. You have Rubik with the nice telekinesis, and the Razor obviously can steal whoever's
Reserve
damage he
time.
wants.
And telekinesis is good to set up cold feet with, because if you get into a position where the problem with cold feet is that the time it takes to kick in, often even if you have a setup stun, sometimes targets can get out of it. But if you start it with telekinesis and you toss them towards you, they have to choose between either running into you and not getting stunned, or running away from you and then getting stunned.
Right.
So it's a great support duo because of that. Maybe that's why it's Mouse Sports' approach when they cannot get the Enigma that they got in that game. We'll see how it works out. And they're going to last pick Wraith King.
Ooh.
So this is a
Virtus.Pro's turn to
Razor
pick.
mid, I think, against Invoker, which I personally really like. He is one of the heroes who can beat Invoker in lane if played very, very well. We're going to see. I think, yeah, I would assume that's how they put it. They could also put Nature's Prophet mid, run an aggressive tri-lane, and solo Razor bottom, but
Now we've
I
seen
don't
so
think that's
many
what they're gonna
so
do.
many lanes with AA Wraith King that have just destroyed. So I think
Yes.
they have to do that. And we're just assuming that Wraith King
10
is going to be the
seconds
farmer,
remaining.
because it wouldn't make sense to put any other two there. But yeah, Razor mid.
yeah, they
makes
just
sense.
run an aggressive tri-lane
5
maybe.
seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
Nature's Prophet in the off lane,
Pretty
or
good.
actually, yeah, it could be the safe lane solo with aggressive tri-lane top even
Reserve time.
for Mouse Sports. Because I mean, I guess it depends on what this last hero is going to be for Virtus.Pro. Who would be a good pickup with Treant, Bane that would be good in lane? I think Gyro is still okay. I think Leech Seed into Rocket Barrage is actually pretty ridiculous, but now that they see how aggressive Mouse Sports tri-lane is, I'm not sure if that is the best choice.
It might have to get a more mobile carry, but I don't know which one they can choose. Mirana's out of the picture, so is Weaver, which I thought could have been a possible approach. And they're going to go for AM.
That's pretty
I
risky.
think this is going to backfire.
Yeah, I don't like it.
If Mouse run an aggressive tri-lane, I don't even know how Illidan is supposed to farm in this lane. So
I mean, obviously, it's a great counter to Wraith King in the mid to late game. I guess even early game, before you get the ult with a lot of whatever. As we actually have Conrad observing the game as well. He is just doing everything
a
these
man
days.
of many talents, but not good at any of them.
That doesn't make any sense. How can you have talents and not be good at them? A man of many hobbies, but not many talents. There you go.
a jack of some trades.
Fata's going to be playing Wraith King. Does
Yeah,
that
that's
surprise you?
interesting. I was expecting him to go mid in this game, but this is one of the strengths of Mouse's lineup, is that they have players that can swap around. And
Right.
I think he just doesn't like playing Razor. That's going to be my interpretation of this. So they're going to be putting... Oh, yeah. You got my
It's
Twitter
too-
wrong. It's @Cinder and Dota. Thank you, Conrad. You're doing a great job. Now you're on camera, though, so you can't go and fix it.
Can't fix it.
Excellent.
Oh, he's
Okay.
going to do it.
He's speed fixing.
Oh,
That's
if we get
awesome.
a first blood, this is going to be an absolute disaster. He's just got up out of his
Man,
seat.
the production value is out of this world on this stream. It's fantastic.
So good. But I think Conrad's going to be lucky here
30
and avoid the
seconds.
first blood.
Getting to follow Wraith King for a bit.
Yeah, well, Wraith King's doing a really
Interesting
good
hero.
job of walking
Good
around, I
walk.
have to say. I really like the the cosmetics that he has, which is absolutely nothing. Okay, so why don't we go to the actual lineups for Mouse Sports? Bring up the scoreboard. I'd really appreciate that. So I don't have to, you know, rely on your camera work. We have Pycat playing the Nature's Prophet. He was really powerful in that game that we
Yes,
got. He started hitting really hard about 20 minutes into the game. MSS playing the Razor. Rubik played by Misery. Fata, as we talked about in the Wraith game, last but not least. Pos on the Ancient Apparition.
And for Virtus.Pro, NS and JOTM will be going bottom lane together as it looks on Bane and Treant respectively. We've got Centaur played by Ars Art. In the mid lane it's going to be God as per usual.
Hey,
I guess
look
you're
who
happy
Setti's
with
got
the hat.
on. Look who Setti's got
Look
on.
at that hideous mask. And then in the top lane, Illidan will be playing one-on-one Anti-Mage against Prophet. This is a decent lane for Anti-Mage. The way he needs to play this lane is to go very aggressive early on. Make sure to mana break the Prophet so he gets forced out of lane. But Pycat has a double damage and probably gonna... Oh, wow.
Is it acceptable for me to call it JOTM Jotum? Just to be
I was thinking about calling him that. I'm down with that.
All right,
That's
let's do
fine.
it. They're smoked up right now. I thought they might go gank mid, but they're going to think better of it and end up at bottom lane where the Centaur is not getting a whole lot at the moment. But they're actually going to be seen. Here comes the telekinesis. Not sure if they actually want to do anything. Leech is there for Misery, but here comes the stun from Wraith King onto NS. We have a huge amalgamation of heroes. Fata getting stunned. NS is the one that's really low, though. Not sure if the right click's going to be enough, as Fata might be in a bad position here. Not sure if they have another stun to follow it up with, as there's a continual right clicks. Doesn't look like first blood will occur, but a lot of damage was done overall.
That could have been a first blood for Mouz. Fata was almost through his attack animation and then he cancelled it, because this is the thing you need to remember with Chilling Touch, of course. 20% less attack speed. Getting the full swing through takes a longer time, and that was the little bit of damage they needed, but can't really fault him for it. That is... It was kind of a weird play in the first place. I don't think Mouz were at all expecting this rotation from Virtus.Pro, so... Not surprised to see them surprised.
Well said. As they're just going to show up in mid, and MSS is going to completely ignore them and just continue to farm. But what do you think about the Razor? You talk about the Razor being a good matchup against Invoker. How much should he win in this lane? I mean, right now it's relatively even, obviously, but it just... As we have a haste rune being circled by Conrad, appreciate that, didn't see that. Arsart on the Centaur is going to be using it. And actually, we haven't really talked about the tri-lane before we get into the mid lane. Weren't expecting Centaur to get any help, although it's not going to be a tri-lane. It's more of an off-lane with help, I suppose.
Yeah.
Occasional help.
It's great for Arsart to get level 3 this way, but you just have to think, was this really worth it? Because both of their supports are going to be level 1. Now NS is going to start pulling the top lane, which is great, but Pycat has already got off to a good start as well here against Illidan. He's actually out-farming him, which... He's out-farming him quite a bit in that Prophet versus AM lane, so...
Mid lane.
Yep.
Razor taking some damage.
He's gonna
Some cold snap there. He's going to steal a lot of damage from Jotum. Actually, yeah, that is quite a bit at this early stage, and that'll help him secure a little bit of last hitting.
So this is where Razor should have won the lane if he were to win it. And I did not follow the mid lane too closely, but the way Razor wins the lane is that he gets a good block, and then he gets the... Do you see that line drawn, Conrad? You go a little bottom left. That's great. You want to hold the wave somewhere around this line so that Razor can move forward in this direction. He just starts draining the Invoker and force him out of the lane. But if God has the better block, then Razor cannot get up to that head start.
Taking so much damage. Looks like first blood will go the way of Pycat. And we saw this. A very aggressive Pycat, just TPing everywhere, it seems. And I mean, that's the strength of Nature's Prophet.
Being involved. He was pulling the jungle at the same time. So Arsart was perhaps feeling a little bit safe because of that, since they do have this ward here, so he knew that the Ancient Apparition was in the Radiant jungle. But Pycat on the money with the TP, and he gets early phase boots with the first blood, and off to a great start here.
All right, so talk to me about mid. We just talked about mid, actually. I'm sorry, I meant top. The Nature's Prophet versus Anti-Mage. So obviously when Nature's Prophet TP's out to help the lanes, which it's kind of like a risk-reward situation. If you get a help on the kill, obviously it helps you immensely along with the lane that you're going to be going to. But it leaves Anti-Mage free to not only free farm but get solo XP without any issue. This is kind of like one of the, I don't know how to explain this, like Nature's Prophet, as we're going to have a little bit of action on God mid. Static Link is there, but it's not going to be enough to get the kill unless MSS wants to continue. It looks like he will, actually. Plasma Field's out. Is he I can't believe that's enough damage. That's ridiculous.
You hit pretty hard when you've stolen 112 damage. He has a triple damage
Well, I
rune
didn't
right
think
now.
he would have enough move speed to do perfectly on this. Pycat looks like he will go down eventually to Illidan. Actually, maybe not. The health pod is there, along with the TP. And Illidan has it blink up and will be forced out very shortly. They're actually going to see him with Ice Vortex.
Careful here.
Yeah,
Yep.
is he stuck? No, he's not quite stuck.
Oh,
The creeps
the
are there,
surround.
though. The auto attack from the... Oh, my God. Misplay there from Illidan. Being a little bit too aggressive. I think forcing Pycat out of lane should be good enough in his book, but he got a little bit greedy.
At the very least, what Virtus.Pro has got going for them is that God won the mid lane one-on-one until he got ganked. So his farm is okay, and Razor doesn't really have too much. And as I said, this lane comes so much down to the block. That's how Razor dominates the mid lane against other ranged heroes, is that he has to have the advantage in positioning. And I'm assuming God had a head start in that regard. And when you're playing Exort Invoker with Forge Spirits, this is the point when Razor is not winning the lane anymore. It's in the first few minutes that you want to take control, and then if you get a gank, you can just completely bully the Invoker out of lane. But he's going to get another one right now.
Yeah, but here's some TP from Treant. Has a Leech Seed available, and God, he's going to take the right clicks again. Pycat is everywhere, it seems. Jotam's going to get killed as well. Razor does go down to the auto attacks of the tower, so that's going to be the first kill going Virtus.Pro's way, but of course no experience coming their way whatsoever from any of these kills. Or the kill, I should say. So Mouz off to a really good and aggressive start. And, well, I think we knew this from the beginning of the game that Virtus.Pro is going to be relying quite heavily on their anti-mage. And he has to get to the point where he can actually carry. And he's getting some space created for him by his team dying and Nature's Prophet TPing out. But is it really worth it?
If he gets a fast Battle Fury, he can carry this game really hard. There's no counter to Anti-Mage in this game on the Radiant side. He actually counters Wraith King by just getting a Manta Star and burning all his mana instantly, so... It's going to be interesting to see if Illidan can get some good farm here. I definitely think it's a good matchup. AA in the bottom lane will be taken down. It looks like, yes, Pycat with a TP. I've seen this before.
Yes.
This is pretty much a deja vu every time they
Honestly,
play.
I really like Pycat's Nature's Prophet. I mean, we talk about Nature's Prophet being picked occasionally here and there. It used to be a very standard pick. Not as much anymore, I would say, but not to the degree it used to be, at least. But a lot of times you just see them farming in the jungle or farming in the farm lane or mid, wherever they may be. Pycat is everywhere. He helps set up ganks, and I really like his playstyle.
And the great thing for Mouse Sports with this pick is that since it's not really a top pick in the metagame right now, they can get it every single game because teams want to ban other heroes against them. They want to ban top tier first or other heroes because Mouse can also play all the top tier heroes, so you don't just let them through unless if you're very wary of which trade you're going to get. And it seems every time Mouse gets this Nature's Prophet AA combo, they just get off to such an explosive start, and it's hard for the enemy teams to really turn it around. The thing VP can do, though, is that since they have a Treant, and since they have an Invoker who's getting decent farm in the mid lane, maybe they can just stall out, avoid losing too many towers, and have Illidan farm, because Mouse Sports' lineup is really not good at killing Anti-Mage. Without Wraith King there, I cannot imagine them killing the AM, unless if he overextends like he did before. But if he's just farming, who is going to gank the AM? You can TP in a Prophet with a Midas, yay. Razor does not have a stun or a silence. Yeah. Rubik Telekinesis is all you have, since Cold Feet won't proc, right?
I think Pycat needs to get Orchid, and it has to come way before the Manta style for the AM. But even then, it's just like a matter of time before he actually gets the Manta style, then yeah, what exactly can you do? But he still has to get to that point, and right now, Mouse Sports is winning 2 out of their 3 lanes. Decent, I would say pretty heavily, as far as kills are concerned at least. As Fata and company are going to be surrounding this tier 1 tower. And God just, he knows exactly what's going on. And this is quite a big investment for Mouse, but maybe they transition this into a push. As they, Pycat's faking the, okay, he's actually going to come in, and they're going to do just that. Tread's now picked up by anti-mages. They're going to perhaps trade the tier 1 top, but of course this mid-tier 1 is far more valuable as far as map control.
Pycat's porting back to base to get mana for a Wrath of Nature. Might try to defend the top lane by doing exactly that, and will be successful. So, no trade. Mouse getting the easily making the better decision there, and this is a 9-minute blink.
Yeah,
for
and I like, a lot of times we don't see them pick it up right away. I like this a lot. You have to be really aggressive, because like we talked about, there's Stampede here. There's the Nightmare onto Pos. Do they have anything to follow it up? And Stun Strike is there, but here comes the stun from Fata onto NS. Looks like Pos is going to sacrifice his life, but they will get the trade. Got him really low. Actually, they have vision? No. It was the fade time on Nature's guys. Nature's guys.
Uh-oh.
I really like Nature guys.
I'm not surprised Conrad's laughing at that. Top lane. Illidan. I'm surprised Razor doesn't just link him there to make him blink away, but no matter. MSS. He is really not getting too much farm. But the thing is, I don't know if he has to when the other heroes on his team are doing such a great job. He got the couple kills in the mid lane, which can make up for a little bit of lack of CS, but generally a mid laner at 10 minutes, you are not satisfied with less than 30 CS, and in many cases not less than 40. You see God is pretty much doubling up MSS right now, and we'll be going for a Midas. So this is going to be one of those games where it's like, can Mouz keep using their lead to get more and more and more and eventually pressure VP down, or do they slow down and let VP get used to their Midas and let AM get the Battle Fury?
I'm more
Knowing
interested to
Mouz,
see-
I don't think they will slow down.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, actually, have an invisible Centaur Pass. Oh my god, burst damage. More than enough. Sunstrike not even needed. I'm wondering when Mouz will start pushing a little bit more aggressive. They have 2 towers. They're grouping up top. We're going to see a little bit of push here, it looks like. And when does Razor get the Ags? Are you talking about him not getting farm? I think the Ags is probably necessary for them to breach high ground into the tier 3s.
I would agree.
Radiant's
And they
middle
need a
tower
mech,
is under
among
attack.
other things. They don't want this to go late game, as he talked about. They're being very aggressive. I mean, it's very obvious that's what they want to do with these 2 tower
Dire's
kills
top tower
and
is under
Blink
attack.
Dagger on Wraith King. But
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
looks as if they're going to trade tier 1s.
This is okay if you're Virtus.Pro. I think this is
Radiant's
exactly
bottom
what you should be
tower
looking
is
for. As long as you don't lose,
Dire's top tower
any sort
has
of even
fallen.
trade is okay for you, because you know you just need to buy time. And by taking over some of the map here, Virtus.Pro can maybe set up for Anti-Mage to get more safe farm inside the enemy jungle, because once again, the moment Wraith King is visible on the map, I think AM can farm anywhere he wants, until Prophet gets an Orchid or a Hex. If he gets the Orchid, at the same time
Dire's middle
Illidan gets the
tower
Manta,
is
then
under attack.
he negates that.
Do you
then
think he
can
goes
just still
straight
farm.
Hex
Radiant's
instead of
bottom
Orchid?
tower
Because you know
is
that he's going to
under
get
attack.
Manta. Is it worth the investment for that small period? Obviously, it's still good against pretty much any hero in the game, but
I think Pycat might actually get a Shadow Blade. That's what he did last time. Shadow Blade into Hex.
okay.
But
Yeah.
in this particular game, he's getting it. He gets the Claymore already, so I think an Orchid could have been nice here, because it's great against every single Virtus.Pro hero on the map right now, especially the AM is one you want to
Dire's
gank,
top
but
tower is under
if Mouz are
attack.
confident that they can take this in a mid-late game scenario, then I understand the Shadow Blade pickup, but Virtus.Pro is stalling out decently right now. If you look at the gold graph, it's not going more in the favor of Mouz. Over the last 3 minutes, it's been completely stale at the 4K, and experience is only 1,000. This is not too bad for Virtus.Pro. This early
Dire's
game that
top
started
tower
out like
is
pretty
under
much a
attack.
disaster is now slowed down a little bit, and they're taking some initiative, especially with Ars Art. If he keeps finding ganks with a double edge and a Blink Dagger, I think they can do this in a mid-late game.
It's really disappointing that when Rubik steals Forged Spirits, he doesn't get the cosmetics. This is game-breaking.
Lane
It's
Illidan.
Illidan gets sprouted, but he'll just blink right out. Pelkinis is probably here. AAL will miss, unfortunately. His blink is up in 1 second. He should live to see another day. And obviously, this is when he's most susceptible to ganks. Very close to getting
speaking
his
of
Battle Fury.
which,
Oh, okay, we have fought it with the Blink Dagger, but Illidan just going to TP out.
Living
Or
Armor's pretty
Blink
good.
Dagger, I should say, yeah. Pretty good. Not too bad. I mean, that's literally why you get the hero, for the most part, is... Well, Bane going to sacrifice his life for this? Yep.
Nope.
Going to TP out? Okay.
That's the problem. They don't have... If Rubik and Wraith King aren't there, they can get away with a lot of weird plays here, Virtus.Pro. And Fata
God.
chasing down God.
Doing the Ray Fire Blast. AA ult to follow, but the Stampede is there to counter. It's going to completely miss.
Very
And we've
nicely
seen
played.
2 AA ults missed, and in the last game we cast with Mouse Sports, they missed like 0, I feel like, at least in the
Yeah,
important ones.
very, very few. And Stampede is a good counter when you see it coming, because then you... If you know the AOL is going to be on the way, or one of your heroes get in trouble, the amount of space you can create with that is really huge. So, nicely done by Ars Art to save God in that situation.
Dire's middle tower is
Starts
under
looking for an
question
initiation
is-
here.
Yeah. Another thing we haven't talked about is that Mouz really... Oh, and wait a minute.
Fata destroying the Bane with help of a Razor.
Dire's
Rubik
middle
actually gets the
tower
last hit
is
from that,
under attack.
funnily enough. His God is just going to continue to ancient away, so they're going to give this tier 2 for nothing.
Mouz needs to bring down the tower in one go, else it's going to be healed up by the Treant, which is something we haven't talked about yet. And I'm surprised to see Virtus.Pro letting this one go. I think they could have held that.
Dire's
Arsart was in
middle
position the
tower
whole
has
time.
fallen.
Treant in the bottom lane did have a TP.
Radiant's top tower is under
God
attack.
could have probably made it back there on time after he was ganked. Well, this is what Virtus.Pro needs to be careful with, and this is exactly what Mouz needs to do. If they can get away with this kind of pressure, it's great. They need to take more towers, get more map control, deny the anti-mage as much as possible.
Well, he has a Battle Fury now. I'm not sure if it's coming to him, but he has enough to finish it.
No.
All he needs is the Mana Void. He has the other piece in the tray, doesn't he?
Does he have a broadsword? I don't think he has a broadsword.
Okay. Nice kill missed, Conrad. Thanks, bro.
Why were you looking for a broadsword that wasn't there?
I could have sworn I saw it. It must have been probably the Nature's Prophet going for the Lothars, I guess.
Yeah, I might have seen his claymore.
Yeah.
But Illidan's still about 900 gold off. I would have been kind of surprised to see him with a Battle Fury already with treads.
Well, when is a good timing for him this game, like the way that it's gone?
He has one death. He hasn't had complete free farm, but good farm. I still think somewhere around 16 to 17 is okay, since he went treads, Poor Man's Shield, Quelling Blade, and died once, and they've only taken one tower. Then I think that's an okay timing. And instead of just looking at raw timing, it's more about how is the game progressing. And since Mouz are not getting that much, I know that might be weird to say when they've taken 4 towers, but if he buys enough time, then it's going to be pretty okay. And they're going to be trading for Roche here, but nice AA ultimate here from Paz.
Yeah, they're forced out. Illidan's going to continue to go for it. No, he's just going to take out the Nature's Prophet Treant. And it's not going to be a trade for Roshan for tier 2. It's just going to be a free tier 2. For an AA ult, I guess is the trade.
This is, yeah, well, just as I was saying that it was looking okay for VP and that they weren't losing too much, that trade for Roche would have been okay, but I'm surprised they're not at least trying to somewhat defend their towers here, because it is such a big part of running their strategy that they don't lose the map too early.
What exactly are they waiting for? Because let's say you get the AM Battle Fury. He's just going to continue to farm until he can actually get that Manta. Then he might want to fight a bit. Obviously great against Wraith King as we talked about, but
the
like,
way
what
I
exactly
could
are you
imagine,
waiting for?
The way I could imagine them defending is Centaur and Invoker together have great burst potential. We saw it already when they got a Sunstrike kill. The only guy they shouldn't be going on is the Wraith King. If they go on someone else, it's pretty much a one-shot kill, and then maybe you can follow up. Maybe the problem is that NS is level 5. We're 17 minutes in, and the Bane does not have Fiend Script. That's really alarming for Virtus.Pro fans right here, because he is going to be a big part of them being able to hold on. A clutch Fiend Script can save this game, and of course, it's another way of draining mana from the Wraith King with that ultimate, so he can't use his reincarnation.
Well, speaking of that, speaking of counters to Wraith King, do you think, I know that you're a fan of Quas Exhort on Invoker, do you think Quas Wex would have been better this game, perhaps? Because
I'm a fan of both builds.
Like, if you're defending, because you feel like going against this line, you're going to be defending until AM can take over kind of thing, and if going against Wraith King, the EMP is so powerful.
I think the problem for God here is if he goes Quas Wex, he might have lost the lane to Razor. And in addition to that, the 2 supports they have don't have that much damage, like Bane and Treant together.
Stampede, MSS, you see so much damage. AA ult is coming, but here comes Misery with a nice turnaround. They're going to get 1 kill on Centaur. Illidan on the run. He's going to get his Battle Fury.
He doesn't have mana.
Collected here. Well, he'll have mana very shortly thanks to that Perseverance inside that Battle Fury. Gotta love it. He'll blink out the safety. They lose a Centaur. Decent amount was used by Mouz. And I'm actually interested to see if Mouz ends up taking Roche after one of these engagements, because they could probably, like, with this map control, they can steal that. I don't know if you can call it stealing it. I consider it stealing if they're not dire, I guess.
Yeah. But to finish off on the trail of thought about Invoker, Quas Wex would have probably not been as good in the lane for him. Sure, you can stall with Tornado EMP, but they wanted to get some kills early on because of the Sunstrike, and they did manage to get a couple. And at the same time, since if he would have lost his lane and they would have not got those ganks off and he would have not been a threat split pushing with the Forge Spirits, etc., then maybe Virtus.Pro would have been even further behind. I can't just give you a clear cut, this would have been better than that. I think both builds are situational and have their advantages. Usually the very simple way of looking at it is Quas Wex gives more control, Quas Exhort gives more farm and split push. So.
Right. I think as far as viewer standpoint, Quas Exhort's much more exciting anyway, so I'm not complaining. Illidan, now that he has his Battle Fury, he's just going to be farming everywhere he goes. And Mouse Sports, do they just ignore him and just go for towers? I mean, they still have a tier 2 bot that they
seeing
take
an AA ult flying out.
We're going to see it miss, unfortunately, again. They're just
some
not
damage to the Bulls. So Illidan can farm them easier. Thank you, Fast.
No, Pycat has a Maelstrom now. No, who is that? Who has a Maelstrom? Who did you click on that has a Maelstrom?
Wraith King.
He's just panicking. So the Wraith King picks up the So once he gets Mjolnir, he can just jump in, deal so much damage. He'd probably just apply that to himself as well. There's
But
no
he
reason
needs-
not to.
That's still the problem here. Wraith King without a BKB still might need to be a little careful with all the mana drain coming out from Anti-Mage and Bane, and maybe if Invoker starts getting some points in Wex now, which I don't think he will. Oh wait, the second was seeing a blink from Misery, but just as fast a blink from Arzart, he will also Stampede out. Nicely done.
Blink is
here.
down for
But
Fada. Oh, Pycat's here with the Sprout. And Arzart might be in a lot of trouble. Wraith Fire Blast to follow AA Blast. Is it going to hit this time? And again, it misses. Well, we're going to see Stampede
he stole
stolen,
it.
though. And here's Fada blinking in for the kill. And they're going to be able to back up with very little resistance. In fact, the TP was completely canceled. These AA ults have been completely opposite of the last game that we
Radiant's
cast
top
with them.
tower is under
that was
attack.
not worth it for Mouz. Sure they got the Centaur, but they're going to lose a tier 1 tower. They gave Illidan a lot of space.
Radiant's
Or
top
maybe if he survives now.
Telekinesis into the Wraith Fire Blast, but there's NS with his ult finally being used. Finally being leveled, I should say. Anthony
Oh, it's
blinks away.
stolen!
NS. I can't even see what's going on. Okay, Anthony gets killed. And Bane to follow, so Fiend's Grip was stolen, I'm assuming?
Okay, now it's a good trade for
Okay,
Mouz.
excellent.
Overgrowth bottom.
MSS going to take a Stun Strike to the face along with the Necronomicon units and an Ice Wall. Very nice positioning. So we'll get some sort of retaliation, but not nearly enough.
All of that in the top lane was actually set up by them glyphing the tower at like 4 HP. They glyphed it. There was nothing left. AM really wanted the last hit, didn't get it, and then Rubik with a fast blink telekinesis forced Anti-Mage, or kind of forced Bane to help him out. I think what NS could have done in that situation, he was expected to die anyway. He was sacrificing for the AM. So instead of gripping, he could have tried to nightmare
Oh
the
my
AM.
god, look at all these steals. AA Blast is finally going to hit and secure the kill actually for Foss here. And X marks the spot of Ice Walls, if you will, as Fata taking a lot of
Another
mana
mana
drain.
drain now
Yeah,
with
so we have
the Necro Book.
we have 4 mana drains, if you include Bane ult. So, so much counter for Wraith King.
I'm
Dire's
expecting
middle
Foss to go for a
tower is
BKB
under
after the
attack.
Mjolnir, but so far he hasn't died. The mana burns haven't been significant enough, and we haven't seen that full-on scale teamfight because Virtus.Pro doesn't want to take it anyway. They just want to farm and get Illidan further and further. I was about to say ahead. He's not ahead, but he will get there. He's 2,000 gold behind Prophet. He's tied with Wraith King, and his CS is obviously higher than the others. So we might see Illidan get into a position of power here. It's still going to take quite a bit of time for Virtus.Pro, and the art for them here is going to not be getting caught off too much while AM farms.
Is Razor going for BKB or Ags? He has the Ogre Club right now.
That's a good question.
I mean, typically if you're going to get Ags, you get Point Booster first, but
And,
not always the
and
case.
typically you want to have the Ags now if you're going for that build.
Yeah.
It kind of, I wouldn't say it falls off, but it has the highest impact at around this mark. And Virtus or Mouse Sports are not in a position to push the base yet. And perhaps that's a little bit of a flaw in their strategy here. If they cannot manage to breach the high ground, which Virtus.Pro has great defense for, of course with the
Bottom lane initiation on the Arsart. It's the AA Blast. It's going to... Oh, it's actually... No, it does miss again thanks to the Stampede, which was stolen another time. They're going to be able to secure the kill on the Centaur Warrunner. Sprout is not there for Pyka. He's forced to use his Lothars to try to pick... Actually, Ags is on Razor, so apparently he had a lot in his stash at that point. NS will be found thanks to the Ice Vortex, among other things. So 2 kills going the way of Mouse Force as they're going to transition this again into another tower push, this time a tier 2, with an Ags, Razor, and I don't see them stopping for a little bit.
Dire's bottom tower
Yeah, with those 15, they need to be a little careful here. There's 15 seconds on the
Radiant's middle
respawn. But
tower
God
is
is not
under
in
attack.
position.
Dire's bottom
I have
tower
no
is
idea why
under
he hasn't
attack.
ported back here and dropped an ice wall to stop that push, but okay. Maybe that's why. Mouse actually didn't want to go for it.
He knew it. He knew it in his heart. Oh, Illidan already used his blink. It's up in 1 second. He's going to be found. There's the Sheep Stick, newly picked up by Pycat. Do they have enough damage? Indeed they do. Pycat getting credit for that last hit. So down for 60 seconds. Can they actually turn this into anything? Maybe even a row should be the right choice here. Bless you, Cinderin.
Thank you.
Necronomicon level 1.
2.
Is that 2?
You see the number of stripes on the
Oh, I never even noticed that actually.
is what level it is.
Interesting, thank you.
It's Roman
Learning with
numbers.
Cinderin.
Uh-oh.
God's on the run. He's going to force that out there. Oh, he's going to get sprouted. There's the beautiful dust of appearance. And God, you are in quite a bit of trouble, good sir, as Ghostwalk was stolen by Rubik. AAL's going to miss again. Not needed this time, though. And again,
Mouz are
down for
just
20 seconds still.
They're playing with
for
such
AM.
confidence, and they keep finding the pickoffs that they need to find.
And this is without their combos correctly used.
Yeah, the AA ult hasn't really been hitting too much, but they don't need it. And again, Pycat is going for the exact same build he did in the previous Prophet game with Cast, where he gets into this early Hex.
Fata blinks in, Jottam dies very shortly after. He's going to get his overgrowth off. Maybe he lives, actually. Okay, he will live to see another day. AM is here with a beautiful mana boy. He's going to get 1 kill. He's going to continue the right clicks very shortly. No, he's just going to get out of there thanks to the static link. Right here comes Centaur with the blowing up of Razor. Fata did go down, but of course he did have his ultimate. Not enough mana drain coming his way. Fata now is nightmared. Is there a Fiend's Grip? Nope, it is down right now. He's going to blink out. He's going to blink in, I should say, on NS. Taking half HP. Fata on the run now, though. Mjolnir applied to him. Aghanim's on the Ancient Apparition. If he can hit the ult, it's going to be pretty devastating in these fights.
That's level 2 as well.
He's going for a snipe, but it's not going to hit
He's going to hit the fountain.
He grazes gods on the way there. Or God. Damn it.
See? You're calling him gods?
That was one. That was the second, only number 2. I'm allowed 3 in my life.
So we're gonna have a smoke from JOTM and G, and I don't know if they're. I'm not sure what they're looking for. Maybe they want to try to find Pycat down here in the bottom lane, but okay. This is a pretty bold play. Only Razor is dead for the Radiant, and AA ult could scout this any second now. See if Path sniffs it out. Is not trying it so far. They have pretty decent damage. Oh boy, this is gonna be an absolute nightmare for VP. Misery smoke, bro. They know it.
They know it. They know it. They're gonna find him. Telekinesis on a Fort Spear for whatever, but the AL's gonna hit 2, and Treant goes down so fast, and God to the right click of the Wraith King. Here's the Sheepstick initiation onto Bane. So that is 3 kills just like that, and Mouse Sports is gonna clean up this Roche. Devastating fight there for Virtus.Pro.
That was such a gamble of a play, and I can't really. I understand why they're going for it, because this game is starting to look harder and harder for them, but that might not have been the right time to go for that chancy play. And now they might be losing even more. Mouse Sports with the Aegis available. Who did they give it to? They gave it to Razor, so he's going to front line right now with the Eye of the Storm. Will be doing great damage to the tower. I think this is going to be perhaps a lane of Rax. God is still down for 15 seconds, but that's a big item pickup at maybe the right time for Virtus.Pro.
Yeah, pipe pretty big for Bane, or for Centaur War. Big for Bane too, actually, but not for Centaur War Runner. They might be able to get the range Rax before Virtus.Pro mounts a defense. Or they're just gonna give it up, I guess. Alrighty.
I don't think they're giving this up. I think they're going in now.
Alright, well, Centaur has his ult. Everybody has their ult. Melee Rax very low. Mouse Sports playing this quite safe. In fact, the Forged Spirits almost are able to take it out, and they're just gonna get out of dodge, so they're not gonna take any chances here. With 100 HP on the Melee Rax.
Yeah, they can go back there and snipe it pretty soon.
Well, they got Treant, of course.
Yeah, so it will be regenning pretty quickly because of that, but Mouse still got what they came for. They got a kill, they got a tower, they stole the Roche, and they got a tier 3 in Rax, so easily looking like the timing for AM to be able to carry this game, it's too late. He's going to get his Hex, or sorry, his Manta in 800.
What? He blinked in to an invisible Centaur, and Centaur was like, wait, does he see me? Does he see me? Didn't quite get off the hoof stomp. Thought better of it. Sorry, continue. Before I ruin it again.
Oh, sorry, he does have it. Okay. I thought he was missing the recipe, but he does have it. So, 28 minutes, generally not too good of a time. And the problem is, these type of items are coming out for Mouz. So, Daedalus now on the Prophet. It is possible for VP. If they can pull off a fight like they did in the top lane where they got a Mana Void on 5 heroes and a pretty good combination of plays, then perhaps they can do it. Oh, nice TP there by JOTM. Actually got away from Misery.
MSS popped his ult. Might take some damage from these Necro, but the right clicks will commence. And Fata and company is going to apply all their pressure to this Melee Rax. They should be able to get that at the very least. Virtus.Pro just not looking to defend yet. But at what point do they start defending exactly? Like, when does like, he's not gonna have enough time to farm another major item. So at some point
they have to defend now. If they lose 2 racks, it's over. Defending with 2 racks down against the lineup with Nature's Prophet
the jumping from Fata on Illidan. AA ult there as well, but the Illidan very nicely done with the Nightmare. Fiend's Grip onto Wraith King. It's not going to be enough mana drain to kill him completely, so he will pop back up with that ultimate. Illidan in the meantime, though, will fall. I'm not sure if he has a buyback at this point. Pipe finally used by Centaur. Very, very late pipe. and he's stuck in a Sprout, and he will go down as well. So the tier 3's dead. Jotum in the meantime getting completely surrounded by Radiant heroes, and he will fall to the ground. That is 3 dead in favor of Mousesports. All they've lost is Rubik, and GG's come out for Virtus.Pro. Just couldn't quite get to the point of the game that they really wanted to with the anti-mage. But Mousesports just showing their dominance in this tournament. Like I haven't watched any Roxkiss personally this qualifiers yet, but Mousesports so far seems like they're on a completely different level of everybody else that they've played.
Yeah, the game against Roxkiss is going to be interesting to see. As far as execution went, as I talked about yesterday, I think Coast actually put up a really good fight, but just lost strategically in that game. So they are still... I believe they're also looking good in the tournament. I think Coast, if things continue the way they're looking, Coast is probably going to be taking 3rd place in the round robin here. But again, Mouz with this strategy, they just play very, very aggressive early on. They execute the way they need to. They find the ganks. Virtus.Pro's solution was to, or their attempted solution was to play for the super late game with AM, but they just lost so much around the map that he didn't get to come online. It's a pretty simple analysis, but also a pretty simple game, to be honest. So yeah. Good job to Mouz. They keep rolling with this type of strategy where they take great use of, especially the Prophet, I think has been, in this strategy, we gave a lot of praise to the AA yesterday in the game. This time around, didn't hit too many ultimates, didn't really matter. Pycat always there with the Prophet. He ends the game with 9, 1, and 10.
Yeah, Pycat's definitely my MVP. He was everywhere at the beginning of the game, and it did... So I was kind of alluding to this a bit earlier, where Nature's Prophet is kind of a risk-reward, where you're giving up free farm and experience to whoever you're laning against, in this case Anti-Mage. But of course Anti-Mage doesn't really start having a major factor in the game, or at least for their lineup in particular, into the late game. So did a really good job of completely dominating every single lane, and Pycat is just an absolute beast on Nature's Prophet. Like, who do you ban against Mousesports? Like, honestly.
I don't know.
They play so much. They play quite a variety of heroes. I know Pycat used to be known for his mid play, so they could potentially even switch that up. I mean, Wraith King was played by Fata, who's normally their mid.
Yes.
So they're very versatile, and that's what's so scary about Mousesports.
Their 3 cores, I think, can swap around quite a bit if they want to do it. Most teams ban Mirana against Pycat, also because it's a great hero in the version Mirana right now. But maybe you need to decide kind of whether you want to give away Mirana or Prophet. I think nobody wants to give away Batrider if they're second pick.
Right.
You can choose to do that and try to draft around it. We might see that as an approach to beating Mouz, but I think Pycat's impact with Nature's Prophet is even higher than his Mirana. And the type of hero, the way it works, the type when Mouz are playing this heavy aggression, he just gets to do so much more in the early game than, let's say if he was playing a Mirana in this game, I think it would have been a longer game, to be honest. And then maybe the Anti-Mage could have come online. So they have a great Mirana player, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard. But at the very least, I guess you could say for the teams going up against Mousesports, you can see what they're playing. You know what you're going up against. So maybe a team like Roxkiss with an intelligent draft could be beating them.
That should be a really good match. Actually, when is that coming up? It has to be today.
The problem is that game is, by the way...
Last game of the day?
The way this tournament has been going so far, that game isn't going to be important at all. It's going to be the best of 3 in the upper bracket, which is going to be important. And again, that one, the way it's going, will be Rox versus Mouz. And I think that's going to be Mouz's first real test in this tournament.
Well, if they end up 1 and 2, Rox and Mouz, that last match, you're saying it means nothing as far as the standings are concerned, but it could mean something as far as momentum into the playoffs as well.
That's true.
And having a 1-up on the other team, if you will. So anyway, coming up next on this stream, we'll be casting MYM versus Relax. And then after that is when Rox plays Mousesports. And then, of course, if any tiebreakers after that, we'll see. Right now, it's actually looking more likely that it's not going to happen, but there's still a chance. And I'm never going to say no because there's been tiebreakers in every single qualifiers.
Let's see the current standings. So Rox and Mousesports is 7-0. So the top 2 are finished.
Yeah, it's done.
This cannot be changed. One of them will go 8-0. The other will go 7-1. Then we have, never mind. One will go 9-0 and one will go 8-1, probably. So, but can anyone...
Well, even if they both lose both games, I think they have the tiebreakers.
In theory, Coast can still end second, right? If Mouz or Rox lose their remaining 2 games and Coast win theirs. So top 2 isn't set in stone completely. It is possible to have a 2-way tie for second, but whoever is first place will just be there alone. After that, Coast is 5-2. Virtus.Pro will now be 4-4, I think. So the way it looks for Coast, they're in a pretty solid position for 3rd place. And then as far as 4th place goes, that is going to get pretty interesting now with Virtus.Pro losing this game.
So it's possible that we might have tiebreakers with... It really just comes down to X Game KZ and Power Rangers, which
Yeah.
Power
TV
Rangers
United are
very
probably-
underwhelming, but so Virtus.Pro has been pretty underwhelming too, honestly. And I talked about they're not the most consistent team in the world, but they have such good individual players that that's why it's disappointing to look at them as a team right now. But they still have a shot at the top 4, and who knows what could happen in these qualifiers. But that is it for now. We'll be back very shortly with MYM versus Relax. This has been the TI4 European Qualifiers presented by Monster. Thank you to Conrad being the producer and cameraman. So good. We'll be right back, guys.